Okay, so good evening or good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. Okay, so in the last class, we looked at the earlier classes, we looked at HTML, looked at Bootstrap, then we built with Bootstrap from scratch. Then in the subsequent classes, we now started attempting to build with Bootstrap templates. And what we now have pending for the Bootstrap template, it's now, I think this is the site. So I said I was going to work on it. Let me open a new tab. So we have this my site, right? So this is the site we have that we're working on. So what we have pending for this site, so this is a template. So I said everyone should get a download a template and start working on it. So I have started making some changes in the previous training we did. I've made changes to this text. I've made changes to this the photo. What I have to do next is to start making changes to, I think, the content. So I said I was going to take my time and get the content down. And now, either in a live class or recorded, I'm not going to make all of the changes. Then the next thing I'm going to start working on is work on the background, right? So once we are done with editing this stuff, then we'll now learn how to upload it to our hosting account. In the previous class also, I looked at how you can purchase a domain name and hosting account. I explained registration. I explained purchase of domain and hosting account. I explained bandwidth, space, top-level domain names. I explained cPanels. I explained how to access your cPanel once you get it. I also explained how to create emails, right? So we also talked about emails. What are emails? Setting up emails, forwarding emails. We talked about metrics. Those are the things we talked about in the last class. In the last class, we also talked about domains. What is a subdomain and all of that. So that's what we have in the previous class. So in this class, or in the last class, we also secured a subdomain name, which is this, right? We set up a subdomain name, which is this. In this class now, what I want to do is to conclude on installing WordPress online. I want to start explaining themes, plugins, you can call it themes, you can call it templates. Then we're going to go ahead to start discussing site security. So those are the things we have in agenda for our class today. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and log into my cPanel. So we already explained that in the previous class. That's how to log into your cPanel. The website's name / cPanel, you put in your username and password, you're going to be in your cPanel. Okay, so this is what your cPanel looks like. In the previous class, we've explained this. So we just head to software. You can also search here WordPress, right? Now, before we talk about WordPress, let's understand that you have WordPress is what we call a content management system, right? Content management system. And what's a content management system? So a content management system is just a tool, a script, or a software you can use to manage content. So content management system. And when you talk about content, so you have different classes of content, which is text, video, audio, images, right? So in the previous classes, we looked at information architecture. And information architecture has to do with us planning our content, right? The different structures, how they are related, the different audiences. How many of us watched the video I did on information architecture? Information architecture. How many of us did that?
I watched it.
Okay,
I did.
Okay, good. So there we talked about planning our site, right? The structure. We talked about sitemap. We talked about wireframe. We talked about the UI, right? So what a content management system does for us is to help us plan all of this content: the text, the video, the audio, the image. Now, the text can be our articles, our blog, our profile, our company profile, company or personal profile, our I think, yes. Then our video can be presentations, it can be interviews, depending on the company, right? Depending on the kind of website you are building. Then audio can be podcast, or it can be converted. It can be converted video, that is video to audio. It can be anything. The image can go from photographs, right? Can go from banners, designs, and all of that, right? So these are the four main broad classes of content, and the content management system helps you to manage that. And in content management system, you have different types. So you have major content management system. Amongst them, WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, Magento, SMF, PHP, BB. There are quite a lot of them. We're going to see in our cPanel. If we go to software, section, or if we just even click on one of it, let's say we click on WordPress, we're going to see that it's going to open the session for us. That session is going to, are you seeing this left corner? So this is what we call Softaculous. On your cPanel, if I want to go back to my cPanel, I can click on here, right? See this icon here. You can click here. So you call it Softaculous. Softaculous, right? I think I got the spelling correctly. So you can click, you can say Softaculous here, right? Softaculous. You can search for Softaculous. Softaculous is going to take you to where you have all of the softwares. I think you have over like 50 thereabouts scripts that's possible for you to install. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are quite a lot of them. Softwares that you can use in building your site, right? So let me just say Softaculous have over 20 scripts within your cPanel. So now, if you're a web designer, you can start learning most of these popular content management systems. Now, the reason is that why are we choosing WordPress? WordPress is the most popular. If we say top content management system, how many of us also watched the video about top 20 something websites built on WordPress? I'm first watched that video I did. A market share. How many first watched that video? I'll drop it again. So let me review this link. So you see that in the top content management system, WordPress is taking a very large share. Look at 64%. So quite a lot of websites are built on WordPress. If you know how to use WordPress very, very well, most likely out of 10 websites that people design, about 5 to 6, 7 of them are built on WordPress. So in that video, I showed you like 20-something popular WordPress websites, right? So you're seeing 64% of market share. So you're seeing WordPress, Shopify, Wix, Squarespace, Joomla, Drupal, Google system, Bitrix. So all of these are content management system you can use to build your websites. Look at this one also. WordPress, Shopify, Wix. I think let me drop this on the group. Just a moment, let me drop this on the group. To explain to you the reason why we are then let me also drop just a second. Let me also drop the video about top websites built with WordPress. Just a second. Just a moment. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to, if we log into our cPanel. How do I log into my cPanel? I just my domain name /cPanel and the credentials that I was given. I can use that to put in my username, put in my password, and I'm in my cPanel. So let me go through that process again. So once you're on cPanel, you can come here and search for WordPress, right? Next thing you want to do is say, I want to install. Then to ask you what location. Now, I have a site here already, which is this. Right? There's a site here already. So if I do any installation here, it will overwrite what you have here, which I don't want. So I will go ahead and say the subdomain name I created. Or if I want to put it on Saltech / let's say eCommerce, I can do that. I will do that again. I will do that once I'm done with this. Next, I will say, okay, I want to put it on this subdomain I already created. Then I don't have SSL. Let me just choose the regular stuff. We'll learn how to fix SSL later on, right? Just HTTP blog.this. Now, the next thing we're going to do, these are the different versions of WordPress. So I can indicate I want to use the latest one. It will ask me what is my site's name. I can say, okay, websites, website design tutorial blog, right? The site name can say archive learning how to design websites, right? So this is my username, this is my password. I could choose something. I could say, okay, websites design blog, right? I can change this. I can change this email. I can leave it this way. Later on, we'll tell you how to change this password. Okay. Then advanced options, you could leave all of this intact. And the next thing you want to do is install. So I have to copy out this username and password. I have to copy this username and password. So this is slightly different from how you will install it if you are installing it locally. So this is online. It's very straightforward. You just need to indicate where you want to install it, the site name and description, the username and password, and typically everything is fine. Now there's what we call the classic editor. I will install it also. So it makes it possible for me to edit the content of the website using the old WYSIWYG. WYSIWYG is what you see is what you get. It's just like my editor. Are you there? You know, when you are typing in Microsoft Word, the area where you use in typing, you know, like we said, when you were doing your HTML, CSS, those things are important. But once you are now using a content management system, it makes it a lot easier for you. All those bold italics and all the rest, you're going to be doing it with this kind of interface, right? So this is what is called a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get, right? Put that. Good. So it's like the old format. So I can indicate that. I can indicate the limits, login limit. So you have several types of plugins for WordPress. We're going to talk about that later on when we start talking about plugins and themes. What we want to do now is just do what? Is just to install WordPress online. So we can just leave this out, or we'll come back to it later on. Then the next thing is just to install, and that's all. It will take you roughly some, let's say about a minute or two. And once it's installed, it then means that blog.sartechhosting.com is now going to be a new environment. See the way it is now, blank. After now, it's going to become, right? Just after now. So this is how it looks like now, just a second. And in a moment, after we do our installation, okay, now, so there's a challenge we have here. PHP version is less than required. Do you wish to enable PHP this 7033? Might cause issues with your existing installation. If I click on it and say yes, I can now go ahead and install. All right. If there's an existing installation on this hosting server, PHP has several versions, right? You have version 4, version 5, version 6, version 7. The latest is version 8 point something. So every WordPress or script which is based on PHP and MySQL, that's another thing you need to note. You need to note that WordPress is based on PHP MySQL, right? So if you are building a website, you can decide to use a content management system or build from scratch using a programming language. So now a content management system uses a programming language to help you deploy your site. So you wouldn't have to be doing the manual or the personal scripting and all of that. It's all handled by you, for you. So all you just need to do is to drag, drop, do some edits, and you can also do some advanced stuff using the content management system. So if I refresh this now, this is what I'm going to have. I have a clean, neat WordPress website installed on that account. Can we see that? Simple. The question is, how do we log into this site? So the default login for this site is going to be so the URL for everybody is this, right? While the administrative URL is going to be this, right? And this is my username and password, which I can always change later on. Even this administrative URL, I can change it because this is the default for security reasons. Let me put that in bracket. For security reasons, this URL can be changed, right? We can change this URL. So now we have our site design. It comes with some demo content. For me to access it, I just need to do wp-admin, and I copy my username. I wait for that to load. I copy out my username, I paste my password, and I am in. So have you seen this kind of interface before now?
No, sir.
Okay, so this is my WordPress dashboard. Now it's giving me a message and alert. It's saying, okay, I'm using an outdated version of PHP. That is the main site. What I can do is to go and upgrade this version of PHP I have on my cPanel. I will go to cPanel. If you have this kind of issue, alert, and you click on PHP version, right? PHP version. And the next thing you want to do is to upgrade the PHP version. So this is how to upgrade the PHP version of a website. So let's allow that to load. So this is the current PHP version. I just need to indicate and say, okay, I want to choose the latest version, then I apply it. That way, this message we have here about updated version of PHP is going to be gone. So let's allow it. It's updated. My current version is 8.2. I can go back, refresh this page, and I'm going to see that this particular message is gone. Okay. It's saying, okay, your PHP installation appears to be missing a MySQL extension required by WordPress. Please check that this is enabled. Let me go back to my admin and see if I'm going to have that issue. Okay, I think we have an issue here. We're going to see how to debug it. Okay, so let me go back a version behind 8.1 and apply and see if it's going to solve that issue. Because at times you have some disadvantage when you are using the most recent version of a software because of maybe some bugs or some things that are not compatible with your server. Okay, fine. It fixed the issue. Awesome. Now, so the version 8.1 works for us instead of the 8.2. I think the 8.2 is still very fresh and very new. And we might have some compatibility issues with WordPress.
Sorry, sir, I have a question.
Come again?
I have a question, sir.
Yes, go ahead, ask.
So, like the issue you just debugged now,
Yes.
what if you drop down to maybe a lower version and it doesn't solve the issue? What will be your next move?
Now, normally, if you want to fix issues that have to do with WordPress, WordPress have a feature called it has a feature that can help you to make WordPress to go into a debug mode, right? Let me replicate the issue again. Apply. And go back and refresh and see what we're going to see. See this issue? Now, WordPress have support forums where some of these issues you can be told how to fix it. Then WordPress also have its own internal method of you knowing what the problem is. Let me open a new tab and go to cPanel and tell you how to enable debug mode for WordPress. So I will go to File Manager. So we want to see the installation we did. You know, in your htdoc locally, that is your htdoc XAMPP, htdoc. We cannot have any WordPress installation here. Maybe in the subsequent class, I'm going to set up one local so that you see what it looks like. You will see that the structure of a WordPress website is something like this. This is it, blog.soutechhosting.com. This is what the structure is like. We go back and come in. So the structure is WP admin, content include. It also have what we call WP config. This is the config version if you are setting up physically that you will regularly edit, right? I will tap on edit. You're going to see that there's a way to turn on debug mode. So if you turn on debug mode, it will help you to understand what the issue is with your WordPress site. So if you have some issues, one of the first things you want to do is just to go to your file manager, look for your WP config file. Next thing you want to do is you come here and you say what? True. Once you say true, it's going to give you real idea about what the issue is. Let me save this, go back, refresh the site. Okay, I think it's already, it didn't show out, it didn't like put up any message for me. But most of the times when I have issues and you don't know what to do or what might be the problem or what is causing it, maybe a compatibility issue, you come to this place, your WP config file, and you turn this on to what? True. Now, but this is already telling us what the issue is. It's telling us that we check our MySQL PHP extension, whether it's installed or enabled. So I guess that, and if you also check on this link, you might see some clue to how to fix it and the rest. But already know that using the very latest version of a script can give you issues. So that's why I just decided to go back, right? And apply this, and that fixed it. So you can also copy this exact message as it is. You drop it on Google, you might see forums where this is being discussed and how to fix it. Now, if you click on this very first link or click on this very second one, on the third one, you see that the same issue that you had, many persons have the issue. And one good thing about using WordPress is that it's a very popular CMS. So you're not the only one using it. So quite a lot of people are using it. And once you have any issues, you can always just put that issue on Google. You're going to see how to fix it. Look at, you are using an outdated version of WordPress with PHP 7 plus something. So what's the solution? Modern version of PHP, we use newer PDO MySQL or this. This might cause this problem. You're using an older version, or you're using a PHP lower version. This can cause the issue, right? Check the version of PHP you're using. Are you seeing this one way to fix it? Somebody also says, update the core PHP software, right? If your server is running this, upgrade the version. Are you there? See the, tell you to go to this place. And what did they tell you to do? Let me just see. So you can always follow most of these guys and debug your issue. You're always going to have one or two ways to have the issue sorted out. But for me, I think just going back to a not too much of an older version, just the version before the latest version fixed the issue.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so let us go back to, so let me refresh this and see. Now, are you seeing something that's happening here? Because I turned on debug mode. I turned on debug mode. My debug mode is still true. You see, I am seeing some issues I have with my website.
Yes, sir.
Good. But if I turn it on as, if I put it at false, I won't see those issues. So that's to say that my website can have some issues, but still I don't know. Let me refresh again. You see, it's gone. But if I keep it at true, that's why at times when you are working, you want to make sure that this guy is true so that you can look at any underlying issue that you have with your website. Now, if you see what the issue is, let's check. The issue is with a particular plugin. Let me change it to capital letter true. It's always good to keep it at uppercase. Wow, my cache is affecting me now. It's hiding it. Let me use Edge. So can you just click here?
Yes, Edge.
Okay, Edge did not even it did not bring out any message. So I'll ignore and move. But I saw that the issue was with the WP cache. The cache software, right? I could just disable that Okay, look at it here. Can you see it? So if you check very well, you're going to see that the issue is a parameter hook declared blah, 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 WP cache. So this plugin have an issue. We can update it or we can delete it and look for another alternative, right? So let me go and update it. I will go to plugins. You see the issue? But you see that at times some issues might not really break your website. They might not cause too much of an issue. Okay, look at it. You see the reason? It's outdated. So if I update it, let me see whether it's going to fix this issue when we refresh. So we're updating. Update failed. Let me refresh and see. You see, we have issues, right? So I think what I'm going to do is just I'm going to delete that particular plugin. Now, you see, I'll go back to my dashboard. You see, I cannot even access my dashboard again. So how do I fix this issue? I could just go to my cPanel, go to content, go to plugin, and just delete the plugin. This is it. I just delete. So you're actually learning how to fix some bugs with your site. So let me refresh and see. It's gone. So, but you see that file missing, reinstall or remove this particular content. So it's saying I should remove advanced cache, DB, and object cache. So I will go to, this is the URL, the WP content. I go to WP content, advanced cache, DB, and object cache. So those plugins, they work together with that particular plugin. I delete it, I refresh. I see it's gone. Are we there? So after, yes, go ahead.
Okay, sir. When you delete a plugin, does it not have any effect on the website you're building?
Now, if that, like this particular plugin has to do with cache. So when you have a caching plugin, we'll discuss plugin later on. Cache plugin, right? So a cache plugin will help your website to be faster, right? Right? It will make your website not to load slowly, as in load on to different people, different parts of the world easily. That's what a cache plugin does for you. Now you always have more than 50, 100 cache plugin. Sorry, more than 50 plugins in a particular category. Take for instance, if we say top 10 cache plugin, you're always going to see quite a lot. So if you have issue with one, you can easily delete that one and try to fix another one if it's going to work with your site. Because at times you might have issue with a plugin having compatibility with your server, or having compatibility with your theme, or having compatibility with other theme plugins you have on your site. Let's say you have an e-commerce plugin. It's not having issue with maybe a PDF embed or a table plugin, right? So we'll talk about plugins later on. For now, I think we just want to know how to install. Like what you said, you go to your cPanel, go to Softaculous. Let me walk through that again. Once you're in your cPanel, you go to Softaculous or you go to WordPress, you look for WordPress, right? You indicate the particular folder where you want to install it. Like look at, and I have 2 installations. If I want to do a 3rd installation, all I need to do is to do what? Install. I want to do eCommerce now. You see it? I'm going to now say eCommerce, right? So see the way it's going to appear. So the first one I installed on the subdomain name. This second one I'm installing in a folder, all within one website. And I'm not going to say Southtech e-commerce portal, right? I'm not going to say scripts, plugins, templates, etc. Right? So what's the username? I'll say Saltec eCommerce. What's the password? I can leave this. So I will put this as my username for the second site. Then put this as my password. All these passwords, I will change them. Then I can leave every other thing. You see this cache that gave me issue? I can say, no, I don't want it. Let me use super cache. Are you seeing? It gave me two alternatives. I can also do the installation myself. I can just remove it and say, I don't need it, right? Later on, I will decide on which kind of caching software I want to use. Okay, so we have, now you see the earlier time, we installed on the subdomain name. This time, we're installing on the same site, but in a folder. So this is how we're going to access the site, right? So all is fine. I just say install, and it's going to go through. So now we've successfully installed a blog and an e-commerce. So the question is that how is it a blog? How is it an e-commerce? So we're going to learn soonest, right? Now, if we go to this, we're going to see that we have a fresh installation. You see what it looks like? Very simple, very straightforward. Now I have saltekhosting.com/e-commerce. Now you see that I can convert this to an e-commerce portal. So the question is that what makes it an e-commerce portal? We're going to discuss. Okay, I can go to the dashboard by using this, and I'm going to tell you how to change this later on. So all I need to do is to put in this username and put in this password. Okay, I'm in my dashboard already. So nice. So I think the next thing for us to learn how to do now is to explain plugins, themes, and templates. Then I talk about SSL shortly. Now, so you see, I have two sites. I have Saltec hosting/e-commerce. I also have blog.saltec hosting. One is on the subdomain name. One is on a what's it called? One is on a folder. How do I access this folder? I go to my cPanel. I go to files. So you now see that the files of your website, you access them through what? The file manager. You see that subdomain name? These are the files here. But you see the folder, you have to go into the www folder and go to the e-commerce. Are you there? E-commerce. So are you seeing, these are the contents here. Okay, any question before we go into to start building our blog? So this is our blog. We will commence with this one first. Then I think maybe subsequently we can start working on the e-commerce. Any question before I move on?
No, sir.
Okay, good. Now, if you want to build a blog, there are several types of blog. If you are building a blog, there are some things you should consider. WordPress blog design. So in designing your WordPress blog, what you want to do is that you need to understand that you have different types of blog. So you need to pick a niche first. You need to pick a niche. Then once you pick a niche, next thing you want to do is to decide the categories of content you are going to have. Then Next thing you're going to understand, you're going to learn how to write, or how to get content, right? Then once you're done with that, you're now going to ask yourself, what are the different plugins to make your blog better, right? The next thing you're going to do is that you're now going to install a theme for your blog. So this helps for look and feel, appealing website style, while your plugins are going to help for functionality of your site. So this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, this is E, right? Pick a niche. Now, we want to design a tech blog, right? Tech blog. So we are going to cover training, let's say tutorials, job opportunities. We're going to cover news. We're going to tech news, and more, right? Invariably, we have category 1, category 2, category 3. So here, we're typically going to have these categories. Let me just take this one down. Right? So I have 3 categories, 1, 2, 3. And I can also have subcategories, right? Once I've decided that I'm not going to say, okay, I'm going to learn how to write, I can see, okay, I will use ChatGPT. Then I can also use newsfeed from other sites, Google News. Then I can also use Google Alerts if I want to create a blog, Google Alerts. Then the next thing I'm going to ask myself is that for a blog, I'm going to research on top, let's say 10 WordPress blog plugins that will make my plugin better. Have you seen okay, let me show you an example. Saltechventures.com, and let's see what the blog section looks like. So when you have a blog, the plugins that you use is going to help your website to be to be better. Things like social media share. Let me go to the blog. Things like social media share, things like related blog posts, things like having a grid session like this. Let me open one, just open one article, one post. Are you seeing this inline post? Are you seeing this content is related to this particular content? It's added automatically. This was not done manually. As you are reading content and you now see a post that's related to this particular content inside the post. How many of us have seen that is on websites? Then you can now have a social media share, so that from here now, as I'm reading this, I can share this to other platforms. You now have something like a related post, related content to this content you are reading. And there are so many types of plugins that you can have just to make sure that your blog is good. Your blog is what? You're awesome. So those are the kind of things we're going to be researching for our plugins. Then we're now going to be picking a tech blog theme. And there are so many free ones out there. So you have top free tech blog theme. Even if it's not a tech blog theme, you can use any theme, provided like there's a theme I use in building a small site for a friend from South Africa. It's called African stories, African culture stories, right? That's the name of the site. African culture stories. African culture stories. com. Let me see if that is it. Okay, I think that is it. African culture story. So this is a blog. It's a blog that you can use it for a tech blog. You can use it for anything. Are you seeing the blog? Are we still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just a second. So this is an example of a blog, African Culture Stories. I could show you quite a lot of blogs. So for a blog, what you need is nice content. And we already explained what content means, right? So without content, you can't build a website. So you don't just build a website out of the blues. You have to have your content. You have a strategy on how you're going to get the content. If you are designing a blog for a client, you need to make it clear that the content is needed. So it's the content that is going to actually help you to deploy a very nice website. Okay, let's move on. So we now talk about, where are we? So we're looking at a 5-step process of setting up a blog. So we said we now said the categories, then we said content, then we say plugin, then lastly theme. Yes, you can actually start from the theme and the plugin, but I prefer to go this route so because it makes it gradual for me. So for my site, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, let me close this. For my
After my class.
So I'm going to start, you see, all of this layout. Let me just walk you through on the different section of WordPress. So if you are new to WordPress, once you log into your dashboard, this is what the interface looks like. I typically like to clear all of this area by just clicking on this. I don't want this. I don't want the quick draft. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. So to take it back, I like it to be very clean. I can go to my users also and change the color background to, let's say, I want it to be, this site is not secured yet. We'll sort out that one later on. I take it to, let's say, blue, right? And let me change it to modern. I've changed it from midnight. And now save. Now you can see that for this user, you can enable visual editing when writing. You can choose a first name, a last name. You can choose an email, a biographical info. You can choose an image. You can change your password. How do you do that? You go to users, right? All your users, edit user, and you come to this area. You see this site I just showed you, this African Culture Stories. If you click on any story, let's say October 2020, if you click on any story, you're going to see that at the end, it has a bio, right? So this content you see here, that is how to make changes to it. That is this guy here. Same thing with this image, is this image that's here. So once you change it, either the corporate logo or whatever, that's how you have that affected. Hope that makes sense to us. Okay, so you can change that, and of course you save or you update your profile. Then on your WordPress dashboard, you have posts. Let me go back to the dashboard. You have posts where you can see all your articles or your posts. Understand that for a WordPress blog is driven by posts. A WordPress e-commerce site is driven by products. So for me to sell on WordPress, I have to install a plugin called WooCommerce. So is that WooCommerce that is going to make my website become an e-commerce website. But if I want to create a blog, what can turn this guy into a blog is what? Posts, right? This is a page. So WordPress have what we call post types. So let's trash that out. So WordPress has post or have post types. So you have pages, you have posts, you have products. These are the major types. You can have several other types. We'll talk about them later on when we want to build advanced stuff. For pages, for your corporate sites, static content, things that will regularly not change, right? For your blog, ever-changing and new content. That's what you use post for. Products for your e-commerce site, right? For posting items with pricing, for e-commerce checkout and payments, right? So you need to understand these differences. So I want to build a blog. What I need is what? Posts. So I go to categories, and the first thing I want to do is to create all my categories. Once I create all my categories, then I can now start posting into those categories. Like if you check the site, you're going to see that I have, okay, I think, does this have categories? I doubt. Or let's say you check Vanguard newspaper sites, Vanguard, or Punch, or CNN, or any site, CNN sites. You're going to see like world is a category, breaking news is a category, politics is a category, international is a category. So the first thing you do is to create those categories. Once you are done creating the categories, then you can now start posting content into the categories. So that when somebody click on the category world, he can now see all the posts inside that category. Does it make sense? So the first thing you create is a category that is going to hold the posts, right? Same thing here. News, off-season elections, politics, metro, business is a category, right? I seen it, category business. If you go to soutechventures.com also, and you go to the blog, you're going to see that this is a category, right? So once I click business, I'm going to see all the posts under business, all the posts under business. It then means that when this thing was posted, it was indicated that the category is business. Go to soutechventures.com. If you click on blog, you are going to see that category/blog. Category/blog. It then means that this is a WordPress site. This Soutech is also a WordPress site. The CNN might not be a WordPress site. Let's confirm. View page source by Control U. Let's verify. I think I showed how to verify if a site is built on WordPress or not in the previous section where we looked at the top 21 WordPress sites. Okay, let's search for WordPress, Control F, WordPress. Okay, so it's not built using WordPress. It might be a custom script or custom application. Okay, so are you seeing the categories? So you can okay, so let's try done. Let's close this. We might come back to them. So the first thing we want to do when we want to set up our blog is to do what? Is to log into our dashboard, go to categories and start creating the category. So I have one default category. So if I make a post without indicating category, it all goes to this category. So I have 3 categories here. The first one is tutorials, job opportunities, and tech news. So I will say tutorials. That's the first one. A slug is just a URL-friendly name. At times, I can leave it blank or just still use the same thing. Tutorial. This is a section for tech tutorials, right? Now you're going to see that there's an opportunity for you to have a parent category. There's none. It then means that you can have under tutorials, you can have different categories of tutorial. You can have web design tutorial, cybersecurity tutorial, data science tutorial. You can have several categories under this particular tutorial. So if I add this category, I can do a new category and I say, okay, let that category be under this main category. So I don't have a parent category for now. So I just say add category. Right? So it has come here. So I can say, okay, website design, right? So I can still indicate website design. Then next thing I want to see, the parent category for this is tutorials. So in the sense that we are saying this website design is under this guy. So I can put description or ignore that and just say add. So later on, we might talk about SEO, right? Let's put that in subsequent stuff. Website SEO. Right? So you see, I have a main category. I have a category under this category. So my next category is what? Job opportunities. Sorry. Job opportunities. I can put a slug. Sorry. I can put a slug. Parent category, none. Then I can fill this and add. Then I can also say the last category is what? Tech news. No parent category. I can add that. So you see now I have three main categories. If I view this category, you're going to see that to tell me that I don't have any post inside the category. I don't have any post inside the category. I don't have any post inside the category. Right? So what we're going to do in our subsequent class is that I'm going to have 50, or let me say 10 posts each for these categories. For this category, I'm going to use ChatGPT and write 10 posts per 3 categories with their images, and I'm going to post it. Then we'll not talk about plugins, we'll not talk about themes. Now let me talk briefly about, before I go, let me talk briefly about e-commerce, so that we'll just lay the foundation before subsequent class. E-commerce design. So we did a post, e-commerce website design step by step, Southtech Ventures. So some years ago, we wrote a detailed content on how to set up an e-commerce website. So let me scan through it with you. So the thing you need to do is that you need to first install the plugin called what? WooCommerce. You come into your dashboard, say add new, search WooCommerce, install it. You now set it up, fill all these details. The next thing you want to do is, you can do this or you can ignore it. The next thing you want to do is to now go to settings of the WooCommerce once it's installed and indicate payments. You can now indicate bank transfer, right? Bank transfer. So we want to say that for our e-commerce website, we're able to build it, we're able to collect payments through bank payment, and let's say Paystack. How many of us know Paystack? So everybody should set up an account with Paystack, right? Create an account. Everybody should create an account on Paystack, because we're going to use it to build our e-commerce site. Okay, are you seeing what the environment looks like? So set up your account. You can use a startup business, or you can use personal. You can use startup business, indicate that it's just personal. Your business is not registered yet. Put in all your account details and whatever. What we want to do is a situation whereby we can build a site that we can use to accept real money. Okay, good. So where's that guide again? Then you now put your account details. Then once you are done with WooCommerce, the next thing you want to do is to now install the next plugin that is going to help you collect money through Paystack. Now, you know you are using Paystack because you want to be able to collect payment through card. You want people to come to your website, add products to their cards, check out, pay with their card so that you can get the money in your bank account. So you will install, you go to Paystack, install, search for Paystack as a plugin, install it. Then you go to your Paystack account and you go to settings, go to API keys, pick this secret key and public key. You now go to your WooCommerce, your WordPress dashboard, WooCommerce, go to settings, click on add Paystack method, fill up all of this stuff with your text secret key and text public keys. Then you are good to go. That way, if somebody comes to your website, add to cart, checkout, he will be able to pay using his card. So before next class, make sure you have a Paystack account ready. So once I'm doing that section, you're able to follow along. Okay, I think, so here we are going to need to have, step one, we need to have a niche, what we want to sell. Then we need to have our products. Then we need to post our products, of course, in categories. Then we need to set up payments. Then we need to add plugins to make sites better. Then we need to implement a theme, right? So that's the approach we're going to use for our e-commerce website. So our next class should be sometime around, what was it called? Should be on Tuesday by 6 p.m. On Tuesday by 6 p.m., we should be concluding our what's it called? Our e-commerce and our blog website. So I will get everything down. I will get the products down. I will get the blog posts down. I will have a Paystack account opened. And all we're going to do for our WordPress site, our blog site, is to do what? Is to start posting all of the articles with the images, is to put the plugins, is to put the theme and get that done. Then we're also going to be getting our products ready, post them, add the Paystack we've integrated, implement our theme, and our e-commerce site is ready. People can actually pay and we get the money into our account. In the next class, we're going to be discussing site security. So that'll be all from my end today. Let me know if you have any question. Question, please. Okay, thank you very much. See you on Tuesday. So please make sure that you implement what we did on Friday, what we did on Saturday, and also make sure you are doing what we are implementing today. So go ahead, make sure that you purchase your minimum hosting account using instruction that I already dropped on the group, and make sure that you start installing WordPress. You can install two. You can install an e-commerce and install blog. But I would prefer when you're installing, you install it this way. Let's say your site is maxwell.com, .xyz. This is the main site. Leave out this one. We are going to put our Bootstrap portfolio site here, right? Maxwell. Let me just use one Maxwell. Maxwell.xyz. you can install blog here. Maxwell.xyz. You can install eCommerce here. So by Tuesday, we should be able to now start uploading the Bootstrap personal portfolio site. You can pick any of those personal portfolio sites from Made with Bootstrap, right? Just pick any personal portfolio site there, like the one I choose or any other one, any other portfolio. There are quite a lot of personal portfolio sites there, Made with Bootstrap. So everybody, you pick a just a second.
Okay, sir.
So you can pick from any of these personal, right? Pick from any of these personal, this or this, or this, or this, or this, or this, any of these personal. I think this one makes sense. This makes sense. This one I used. This, or this. So choose from any of these four. I'll drop them on the group now. Your portfolio site should be from any of these. Choose from here, from this list. Okay, is the first one.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead and ask.
Sir, please, I want to know what are the difference between this .xyz and .com?
Just domain name extension. I explained that yesterday. Then, and the cost. XYZ is cheaper. If you want to build with .com, for instance, you should have budget with your hosting. You should have budget of about 20,000 naira.
Okay.
So what I did was that I said, okay, let me bear the cost for your hosting and domain name so that we keep it less than 10,000 naira. So, but if you still want to go ahead and purchase a .com, good and fine, and pay with your own money, you can check the difference and balance up, then I'll add that money to your account. So I'm giving out free.com, sorry, free.xyz or .com.ng. That way it keep the cost less than 10,000 naira. But if you want to go to .com is roughly about 13, 14,000. If you add hosting to it, you should be spending about 20-something thousand. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so my question is, assuming, okay, we're using this .xyz now.
Yes, or
if
.com.
later I want to change it to .com, is it possible, or it must be after that 1 year?
No, if you want to migrate the site within 1, 2, 3 months, if you buy a .com and you want to migrate it, you can. We're going to learn how to do migration later on.
Okay, sir.
Website migration. So one of the ways
this website
migration.
Hello, sir.
Hold on. One of the ways you're trying to do migration is learning how to upload your local Bootstrap site to your hosting panel. Another way is uploading what you have on your local WordPress XAMPP to online. Another way is migrating from another hosting to maybe Saltec hosting, or migrating from Saltec hosting to somewhere else. All of that is what? Under migration. If you go to your cPanel, you are going to see it in, I think, backups. Yes, ask your question.
Okay, sir. I said that that means the XYZ should be better for us now. Then later on, we can migrate to .com.
Yes, within 1 year, if you have money, you can buy a .com or maybe .org or whatever, something within the range of 20 to 30,000, then you can migrate your site.
Okay,
now, to make sure that you have a portfolio, if somebody says, okay, Michael or Gift or Maxwell, I heard that you design website, you're a website designer, so you're not speaking grammar. all you are doing is you can just send your 5, 6, 7 links of your active website, right? So as you are doing new tasks, as you are doing new jobs, you want to make sure that you have active websites. So it's some people will say they can design websites, but if you give them a real server, they cannot do anything. Or if you give them an existing site for them to maintain, is the problem. Why? They learned how to design websites, but they cannot use an actual server, an actual cPanel, or that's just like what we're learning how to do now. So you can learn website design without doing all of these things I'm doing today. You just learn how to do it maybe locally, which is good. But when you now want to start dealing with real sites, you now have issues. That's where you now have to start learning. Okay, that will be all for today. Sir. I have to go. If you have further questions, you can ask in the group, and see you on Tuesday.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.